Oh my god. So I've just watched The Odyssey, so here are my thoughts about it. I am a huge fan of Christopher Nolan. Even though I haven't watched a ton of his movies, like the only movies that I've watched by Christopher Nolan is Interstellar, which by the way is one of my favorite movies of all time, Oppenheimer, Dunkirk, and also the Dark Knight trilogy. So when he announced that he's going to make a movie based on the book with the same name, I was really excited. Like even though I didn't even read the book that this movie is adapting, but I'm still hyped nonetheless because come on, it's a Christopher Nolan movie. But when they announced the casting for this movie, I was a little bit skeptical because the actors that were cast for this movie, it's usually the actors that people make memes about, like Tom Holland and Zendaya. And yes, I know that, Christopher Nolan always hires A-list actors to be in this movie. I get that, but it's usually the people who people keep clowning on. It's not because their acting is bad or anything, it's just that they appear in every single movie or TV show. And to make it even worse is when they announced that freaking Travis Scott is gonna be in this movie. Look, no hate to Travis Scott, I love Sicko Mode, but it felt random to cast Travis Scott out of all people to be in a freaking Christopher Nolan movie. That's like if you cast Mr. Beast to be in a John Wick movie. It just doesn't make any sense. It feels so random. But I still have faith on Christopher Nolan because I know that he's gonna do a really good job with the actors, because I know that the actors that he casted for this movie is gonna do a really, really good job. But I just thought the casting was, a bit random. But now since that I've watched the movie, and I know I'm gonna sound crazy for this, but I think this might be my movie of the year. Yeah, I know that sounds insane considering that I said the same thing with the Michael Jackson movie. I just feel like this movie might be my movie of the year. As much as I love the Michael Jackson movie, The Odyssey might be, my movie of the year. And if I'm being honest, this might be a top 3 Christopher Nolan movie. Alright, but before we get to, the stuff that I'm gonna glaze about, let's get to my complaints about this movie because, I can't make a movie review without any complaints about it. I mean, there are some stuff that I'm going to be talking about. As perfect as this movie is, there are some complaints that, that I really need to talk about. I mean, it's not a big complaint. It didn't, ruin the movie for me or anything like that. But it's just something that I really want to mention. It's more like nitpicks. So yeah, let's get to the complaints I have. So the first complaint that I have about this movie is there are some scenes in this movie where you can't tell what the hell is going on. It's like if you play a video game and you turn on the motion blur to the max. It almost gave me motion sickness just by looking at it. But that's just gonna be my only complaints about the movie. So now let's get to the stuff that I really do like. Now the first thing that I love about this movie is the story. The movie feels like it's a one-to-one of Oppenheimer. And what I mean by that is that the entire movie is just constant flashbacks, which is not a bad thing because the flashbacks in this movie are actually really important to the story, because in this movie you can see how the characters are struggling, they went through hell. It's the type of situations that you don't want to be in. And if you expect that this movie is just gonna be an action war film, but oh boy, I got news for you. This movie is actually a freaking horror movie. Yeah, you heard me right. This movie is actually a horror movie because the sequences during the flashbacks are, if not, one of the most terrifying, unsettling, unnerving, uncomfortable scenes that I've ever seen in a movie. It's so freaking hard to look at because how terrifying it is. The whole sequence with the Cyclops. Oh my god, don't get me started with that. That sequence was so freaking terrifying. I almost peed in my pants. I'm not even joking when I said that. And to make it even worse, the Cyclops is 100% real. Like, they don't use CGI whatsoever. I mean, technically they did use it, but more on that later. But the fact that the Cyclops in this movie is just full on practical, like it's an animatronic, that makes the movie even more terrifying and even better, because you can see the fear in the actor's eyes while filming this, because how real the Cyclops was. And not only that, the sequence where they were like fighting these juggernauts in the forest, yeah, that scene was insane. And that's another thing that I want to point out. I love how this movie is just full on practical. Like, they didn't use CGI whatsoever. Well, I mean, technically they did, but it's only for, you know, the stuff with the, you know, Cyclops. Like, all the scenes where they were like, you know, struggling with, you know, the rain, and the chase scene with the Cyclops, the fight in the forest, all of those scenes are real. Like, the practical stuff actually makes this movie like 10 times better for me, in my opinion. Like, Christopher Nolan just straight up flips the middle finger to the movie industry that not every movie needs CGI. And another thing that I really love about this movie is Matt Damon's character. I think Matt Damon's character definitely like steals the show for me, in my opinion. Like, he's definitely like the best part. His acting performance in this movie is so phenomenal. Like, he straight up just, you know, just shows us that he's like a top 5 actor, because his performance in this movie actually makes this movie more like alive and more real. And we can see his character development like progress throughout the movie. And don't get me started with the soundtrack. Oh my god. Like, Ludwig, you've done it again. You're the GOAT for movie soundtracks, bro. Like, I swear to god. Like, the soundtrack for this movie is so freaking good. Like, they even used a sound of a sheep. I think every single actor that's in this movie did a really phenomenal job on playing their characters. Like, their acting was phenomenal. And Travis Scott, the person that they casted for this movie, which I thought was random, actually did do a solid job in this movie. Like, he didn't play a big role or anything like that. Like, he appeared at the beginning of the movie and at the end of the movie. So yeah, I think that this movie is amazing. One of my favorite movies of this year. And to the people who are hating on this movie, needs a reality check. So that's why I'm gonna give The Odyssey a 5 out of 5. This movie is amazing. Definitely, if not the best movie of this year.